get some brownies and me and get some sit later.
Are you gonna get up there too now? Higher. Higher, like just by pulling his body up, so we gotta keep as long as you're still laughing, Truly. Get him, Truly, get him. My mom is so sweet. She came to wish everyone happy birthday that has birthdays this week, brought them their presents. But she also brought me flowers. She said, I just want you to have a good day. I really hope I'm that kind of mom when my kids are older. I've got some leftovers going, leftovers for lunch, and I think we'll probably do a freezer meal and a fresh salad from the garden for dinner, which means I don't have to think about meals the rest of the day. Awesome, makes me so happy. Oh, he just doesn't want to take a nap. Come eat, please.
1 second.
I have it right here. Y'all are just gonna eat outside since y'all are so filthy.
Hand me my bowl.
Please.
Please.
Enjoy.
No.
Okay, Nana is gone. Lunch is eaten. Babies are napping. It's time to go work in the garden. One thing I'm gonna do is replant a few onions. I had some of them die, more than I've ever had die, so I just wanted to replace those. I also need to tie up my sugar snap peas so that they get up onto the trellis. We have a bunch of perennials to plant today, as well as some weeding to do. Just lots of fun stuff going on. Certain bees hurt worse than others. Will you just help me do 2 things? And then you can keep playing with the magnifying glass. Thank you. Hold the end and walk all the way down there, and we're gonna twist it together and put it away. Okay. All right, walk down there. We are just twisting this netting up, and then we'll twist it in on itself, and that way we'll be able to store it without getting a bunch of holes and rips in it.
Why? I get a quarter one at a time.
Give him something to do.
So I get. I'm not letting him out, okay? I'm not letting him out.
I really didn't want to waste a cattle panel to finish trellising the peas, but I also don't really want it to look uneven. So I'm gonna just overlap this cattle panel on the peas because this cattle panel is too long for the amount that's left. So I was just gonna do string, but my brain is wanting it to look nice and tidy and neat. And so I'm just gonna overlap the cattle panels. You hold those for me? My promise to him.
You're holding it down.
Okay. Check your snap peas real quick. But that looks nice and tidy. Your boundary without like being angry. You can just say no. Okay, things got a little crazy. The babies woke up and then they were like small catastrophe after small catastrophe. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this pasta in the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this freezer meal in the oven and then hopefully get back out to the garden because I really had some perennials. Hi! In the oven. Oh, I always forget to take the tape off.
Ow! Ow! Okay, different. So he's like walking down here, and he's like.
That's a nice place to play.
And he's like all fancy and don't be scared if you see
the monster.
Is this good?
More. Yeah.
Hey everyone, this is Bree. I was never able to finish that video the other day. Some days you just have to pivot. Kids have their own ideas of what they want to do, and that day, the beginning of this video, was like herding cats. So I'm actually gonna go out in the garden by myself today. I'm so excited. It makes me so happy and get a whole lot of work done. Sometimes with kids, you just have to push through and stick with the plan. And sometimes with kids, you gotta let it go. Let these expectations of your day go and totally pivot. And honestly, it just takes discernment to figure out what is gonna work best for your family that day. And when I first made this video, it was a much better day to pivot because people were just not having it. Welcome to my garden today. We're just out here checking out what all needs to be done today. It's kind of a maintenance day in the garden. And this week is a huge planting week. I have so much to plant, and it's not vegetables. I can plant my summer garden now. We're past any threat of frost, but I have other things in mind this week because I still have plenty of time to get my summer garden in. Some maintenance jobs we need to do is clean up the garden, take the hoops down from things that don't really need it. The deer are not bothering this. The deer have not bothered this. Now watch it happen tomorrow. But I can't cover this any longer. It's too high. So, and then I also need to collect. I'm going to keep these ones covered in case I see deer damage. We need to get these peas trained up this trellis. I have some work to do with the brassicas. I'll show you what that is. I also have some weeding to do, thinning carrots, and I think it's just about time to hill these potatoes. Those are my garden maintenance projects today. And hopefully we'll get to the even more fun stuff, which is the planting. Though, I do have some planting we're gonna do right now. Quite a few of my onions died, you can see. I bought some replacement onions to go ahead and stick in the ground. They'll be a little farther behind than the others, but not a big deal. I bought the same variety, which is Patterson. It's the first time trying it out this year. It's supposed to be a very good storing onion, though the actual bulb, the onion part, is smaller than what I've grown in the past. Like, it doesn't matter how well I grow it, it's not gonna get bigger than what it was created to be. When you get a bunch of little onion seedlings, they come looking like this. They look a little bit like they're on death's door. Really, they're just dormant. And so if you plant them, I believe it's within 3 weeks of receiving them, they should do just fine. I'm pretty sure that the loss of all these onions was either due to happy little toddlers being in the garden or just planting incorrectly. And that is just what you have to deal with whenever you have kids, and it's not a big deal because, as you guys have seen, letting your children be in the garden with you pays off abundantly as they get older. Yes, you may lose a few crops here and there. Things may not be done exactly right, and you may not catch it in time, but in the end, you have children that have learned a really good skill, and they can take that skill into life. Like I said, those skills are not just for your benefit, they're for theirs. Learning the cycles of a garden benefit you into all of your life. The fruit of hard work in its full cycle. Learning that there's grace in mistakes. Learning that mistakes will also cost you. All of these things are valuable. You don't have to teach your children gardening so that they become a gardener. You can have them in the garden with you, and the many upsets that it will cause having your children in the garden with you, and they will learn so much more than you could ever imagine them learning, and they can take that into all of their life, whether they ever garden again or not. Okay, what I'm doing right now is actually picking out the largest ones to replace the ones that are dead. And the reason I'm doing that is because I just want to give as much of a head start as possible, since, as you can see, a lot of these onions are doing very, very well and growing very rapidly. Now, the reason I wouldn't do this typically is because I'd be planting every single onion to form a full onion head to store for the winter. I'm just gonna take a minute and enjoy this natural AC in this basement. Back out to the humidity. The humidity has hit the south, and even though I'm in the mountains, this is still the south, and it doesn't get as bad as everywhere else in the south, but we still get a lot of humidity. Should have started earlier in the morning where it still felt nice and cool like our mountain mornings do. Alright, I got sidetracked for a minute. Alright, here's all the little onions that are left. So we'll just gather these little babies up, and we will make a green onion bed. I've already got one started here. These aren't really close enough together though, so they're getting kind of big. Of course, you can still use them as green onions. Now, green onions are really cool. So an onion in general is like a plant it once, harvest it once. There are a lot of plants that you can plant, and they're like cut and come again, kind of like flowers, like zinnias or daisies, things like that. Green onions are like this. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your little onion plants, these little baby seedlings, and you're just gonna plant them super close together. They will grow the greens, but the bulbs won't really ever mature. Now these aren't close enough together because the bulbs are maturing, which it's not a big deal. I can come out here and I can cut all of these off and they will just grow back. So all spring, summer, fall, I have green onions to put on my tacos, in my soups, on my potatoes, on my casseroles, whatever. In my salad, oh my goodness, so delicious in a salad. Now I know you guys are gonna ask me how close together. And honestly, it doesn't matter, you just want them close. But if you need an amount, I'd say an inch, at least an inch. Another difference in planting green onions versus an onion that you're gonna harvest for the bulb is that you can plant them really deep. So onions that you're harvesting for the bulb, you only plant 1/2 inch to an inch deep because you want that bulb to actually form above the soil. And if you plant it too deep, in the end, it's not a big deal because you can fix it. But with green onions, you just plant them as deep as you want. Now that looks like a happy little mess of onion seedlings, doesn't it? Just checking on my peas, trying to train them up this trellis here. They're starting to get it. I think I'm gonna just tighten this string that I've got that's pushing them towards it. I really wish I had planted these earlier, but I didn't have a garden to plant earlier because we're coming on, what is it, May 8th or something? I don't know. And they're still only knee high. Now they are taking off, but I'd really could already be harvesting peas right now. Well, maybe not quite yet, but soon if I haven't planted so late. You can eat these. They're totally edible. These are not sweet peas like the flower. Those are not edible. These are sugar snap peas or snow peas, depending on the variety that you planted. I kind of interchange the words. These greens are perfectly edible. And they are so sweet and tender. My children love these. I really honestly need to plant a row just for them to eat the greens. One mistake I made was putting my trellis above instead of below, because this is a slight hill, so everything's kind of growing this way. And if I had put my trellis on this side, they would already be happily finding it. But they're trying to grow down the hill instead of up the hill, which makes sense, right? Gravity. So I guess I could take this all out and put it down the hill, but I'd rather just take a few minutes each day and train them. I want to show you something really cool if you've never seen this before. This little climbing pea plant, and this is how climbing plants work, is they throw these little tendrils out. See this? Oh, whoops, I broke it. But see that little tendril? Here's another one. It's reaching for a place to grab onto. And it'll wrap itself around. You can see how that one's wrapped around. You can see how that little guy is wrapped around there. And they just keep throwing those tendrils out. You can kind of wrap it around yourself and train it to go up. You don't actually have to do this, but it's just kind of fun to go in and wrap them around. Plants are absolutely incredible. Okay, now I've got them all pointing in the right direction, going towards the fence. Quite a few are already catching on. It gets me every time, all the beautiful things that you see in the garden that you would never experience if you weren't out there growing food yourself with your own hands and with your own eyes. I did not figure out what was wrong with my broccoli, but let me show you what's going on. I can't find anything comparable on the internet to what I'm seeing, and so maybe I'm not seeing what's actually happening. All of the plants have a similar problem in that, what was that? And that something is like eating the stems. Like I'm looking at the roots because I saw a lot of problems with roots when I was trying to figure it out. I have another one here dying. Once again, you can see that the problem, you see how nice and thick this stalk was, and now it's just completely been chewed up. The roots look fine to me. There's no like big nodules on them. The leaves look fine. I mean, they're obviously changing color because they're dying, but like on the healthy plants, the roots look the leaves look totally fine. So I don't know what's going on. Here's another one dying. This is so heartbreaking to me. That broccoli is my favorite thing to grow, and I've never had this problem, and I also can't figure out how to fix it because I can't find any information about what it could be. So hopefully one of you guys have experienced this and you know what's wrong. I would love for you to contact me, or you could put it in the comments. The only thing I know to do for now is take these plants out. I'm just gonna pull them all out. And in case there's some kind of disease or something on them, I'm gonna not compost them. I'm just gonna get them out of the garden and throw them away. All right, you see my potato plants are going crazy. The reason we hill potatoes is multifaceted. One, when you hill, you're gonna kill weeds, right? Because you're gonna be using your hoe and you're gonna be killing all these weeds, which is gonna make more nutrition available to your plants to grow more tubers. You see that? We're gonna cover this way up, and honestly, I'm a little behind on this. I should have done this already. Now I'm gonna go through in a minute and use my hoe. This is also gonna create a nice sturdy plant, and nice sturdy healthy plants produce more. Basically, you are forcing this plant, or you're encouraging this plant to grow more tubers whenever you hill it up. Another important reason that we hill potatoes is that potatoes like dark, because as they're exposed to the light, they actually turn toxic because of a chemical reaction that produces something called Salatin, I'm pretty sure. And that is totally toxic for us to eat, and so it renders our potatoes useless. Potatoes need to stay under the ground and in the dark when you cure them, and later when you store them, they still need to stay in the dark, or that Salatin gets produced. You've probably seen potatoes on your counter that turn green, right? Another really great reason to hill your potatoes is they're easier to harvest. The potatoes are gonna be closer to the surface, even though they're still gonna be under the ground and in the dark. They're gonna be much easier to dig out of the ground. I don't know how well y'all can see that these are down in a trench, the plants are. Typically, if you're gonna plant these 6 inches deep, your plants at this point are gonna be flush with the ground. See, these are down in a trench. Because they're down in a trench, it does not take as much effort to hill these. Plus I have all this dirt on the side. I don't have to dig the dirt out of the ground, it's right here. I can just push it down. And then I can come from this side and scrape it down. And look, that potato's hilled, and I'll probably hill it one more time, and I can still have plenty of soil to take from over here. Even my rows that weren't quite as deeply trenched as this row, it was 10 times easier to hill. I had all that extra soil just sitting there on the sides for me to knock up onto those plants. I didn't have to go digging down in the ground and pulling it out and pushing it up on the plants. It was just sitting there nice and loose and soft and easy to use. I want to be hilling these up when they're about 6 inches tall, 6 to 8 inches. Mine were definitely higher than that. All right, I gotta come in. I got the hilling done. The morning is over. It is getting very, very hot and sunny outside, and the humidity is just hitting hard, so I need to hydrate for a minute. I think I'm gonna have a popsicle too. Don't have to be a kid to love a popsicle. I find my favorite hat, somewhere kind of this funny one. I came back out here, but there's really nothing else for me to do, in the garden anyway. I got the weeding done. Oh, I haven't thinned my carrots. Let's go do that real quick. I love weeding after a big rain. We had a huge rainstorm last night, and it is my favorite time to weed is right after a big rain, because those weeds just pull so easily right out of the soil. Now, as you can see, my carrots are going crazy, and it is time to thin them. I'm gonna thin them down to one plant. There's so many there. One plant for every like 3 inches. My rows need to be about a foot apart, but within the row, you want them about 3 inches apart. One thing you're gonna do to make sure you don't kill the plant you wanna keep is you're just gonna pinch the tops off. Now this one would be easy enough to just pull right out. So just pull that guy out. You know, pull them out, the ones that are right around the one you wanna keep. But when you're getting closer to the one you wanna keep, you wanna just start pulling them off. Pinching off the tops like this. See that? You don't wanna pull that all the way out because your little carrot plant, its little roots could get messed up. So we're just gonna squish that back down in there and go on to the next one. This is a lot of wasted seed. I do want to save these and see if I can transplant them. I don't know if you can transplant carrots, but we're gonna try because I have a bunch of bare spots too. I keep the carrot closest to 3 inches to the first one so that, see, I can get rid of all of these. If I keep this one, but get rid of all these, I've wasted a whole lot of space. And since I don't have a lot of space right now for carrots, I wanna do the best I can with what I've got. I've never transplanted a carrot in my life, but we're gonna try because this whole row mostly didn't germinate. Well, I guess we'll see how that little experiment turns out. So much better. My baby greens are looking amazing. We eat those every day and they just grow back. Same with the chard and the kale. Greens, lettuces are incredible to grow because they just keep on giving. I may even try to experiment with some shade cloth this year since I already have the hoops up and extend my harvest into the summer. Cilantro is going crazy. Beautiful cilantro. Okay, that's all the gardening time I have today. I need to get dinner prepped. I was thinking about making burgers, but maybe I'll do tacos. Tacos feel a little easier, which feels kind of nice to do something really simple. And I've got lettuce and green onions and cilantro from the garden that I can put in the tacos, so that sounds awesome. I have some time before I need to make dinner, so I'm actually going to do some work editing. I was not able to make many videos last week because we just had a very busy week full of birthdays, but I should be back on schedule this week. Okay, I'm done with work, YouTube work for the day, which feels so nice because it means when the kids get home, we can just have a nice evening together. I do need to water the garden because of all those little carrots that I transplanted, and then all the onions, the new onions that I planted. Everything needs a good water. But first I'm gonna make dinner before the kids get here. I decided on tacos. While that's cooking, let's go grab some garden goodies. Got my little salad spinner basket. I forgot scissors, so I'm just gonna have to break everything off. You're home! What did you catch?
Okay. He's the biggest one I've caught.
Shut the front door so Jake can.
I've caught one this big before.
Are you telling fish tales?
No.
Crawfish tales?
No. Crawfish.
You ready for some supper?
Oh, today I found a crawfish claw.
Cool.
And I got a whole bunch of them.
Cool. You ready for some supper?
Not really. You can swallow them without thinking I'm gone.
How's dinner?
Great. Yummy.
It's nice to have you home. Well, the kids and I are about to sit down and watch a movie and snuggle in for the night. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you in a video real soon.